On track, it's the McDonald's men's 110-meter hurdles rivalry, anticipated matchup. The description all fits here. Lui Xiang of China, the Olympic champion, and Alan Johnson. Now, how long has Johnson been the dominator of this event? Well, he was the Atlanta gold medalist.
1996. Well, you know, start rubbing your hands together, because this is the matchup we wanted to see last week. But Alan Johnson, for the first time in his 12-year professional career, false started out of the Prefontaine Classic, so he did not get to run against Lui Xiang. I asked him what happened. He said, call it a mistake. He said, really, it was first big meat jitters. I said, wait a minute, Alan. You've run the Olympic Games. You've been champion there. You've won the World Championships. You've been champion there. How could you have jitters? He said, well, Lui Xiang flinched, and so I flinched. And so my next question is, that means you're paying attention to Lui Xiang, right? And he says, no, that's not what's going on. So I think Alan is really not willing to admit that he has an issue with Lui Xiang. This is last week at the Prefontaine Classic. Lui Xiang on your right of China. Alan Johnson there in the middle of your screen in the blue. And that was his false start. And he didn't know what to do. He said, where do I go? He said, well, sir, you've been disqualified. You have to leave. And this is what happened in the end. Xiang on the right, running the fastest time in the world, 13:06. That was American Terrence Trammell, who finished in second on the left of the screen. But now Alan Johnson with a chance to run against this young man, Lui Xiang of China, the Olympic champion.
This kid is the real deal.
He's the real deal.
I mean, he definitely has the technique. He does not hit a hurdle, which you see a lot of athletes do. He's about 6'2", and one thing he has incredible foot speed, so he can run very fast between the hurdles. And if you are not very far ahead of him over the last hurdle, he'll catch you on the way to the tape.
Lane assignments for the McDonald's men's 110-meter hurdles. Lui and Johnson will come from lanes 4 and 5. What will hopefully be a head-to-head race. We thought we had one last week at the Prefontaine Classic, and then Johnson was out before they actually got the event with a legal start.
Well, Alan Johnson had to watch Lui Xiang win the gold medal in Athens after the crash in the quarterfinals, and then he had to watch Lui Xiang win last week and run the fastest time in the world. And so, Alan Johnson, the question now is Lui Xiang in Alan Johnson's head? And I think based on Lui Xiang's performance and the fact that Alan Johnson admitted to me that Xiang is perfect over the last 4 to 5 hurdles, Alan Johnson feels he has to get out. And I believe that's what caused the false start last week. Let's see what happens here.
Set.
Oh, look at that. It looked like Lui Xiang jumped.
I think he might have jumped this time.
Unbelievable. He's smiling.
And he's probably laughing because, oh dear, never done that before.
And now Alan Johnson's licking his lips. You know, now he's beginning to feel he may have just a little edge. Lui Xiang in the black shorts there just at the top of the screen. Oh, there he is.
Yep,
he's out first.
But
that means the whole field has a false start now. So basically everybody is back to square one. The next person who jumps is out of the race. This happened last week, and Alan Johnson was not able to hold on that second start, and he's laughing. And I'll tell you, people have said, where did this Chinese hurdler come from? Well, I don't know if some of you remember, Tony Lee went to Washington State and was an NCAA champion at the 110-meter hurdle. So there is a little bit of a hurdle tradition in China.
You think about the Olympics in Beijing in 2008, and Lui Xiang will carry the weight of his country into that stadium when those games begin, and they will expect nothing less than Olympic gold in 2008.
So one false start to the field. If someone false starts here, that person is out of this race.
Set.
A clean start. Johnson not out of the blocks well, now catches up to Lui Xiang mid-track. Johnson in blue, Xiang in white, and in lane number 3, Dominque Arnold. Arnold over the final hurdle. To the stripe, Alan Johnson with a late burst of speed from the last hurdle to the line, and Alan Johnson gets the win.
You know what? Lui Xiang sat in those blocks for that second false start. He was afraid in that second false start, and that's one thing you cannot do in this race. You cannot be afraid. You've got to get out of those blocks and get over the first hurdle. And Lui Xiang struggled over that first hurdle. It was unusual for him. Alan Johnson deserved that win because he took it. Wasn't given it. He took it.
And look at his face. You can see the relief on Alan Johnson's face. Dominque Arnold in the black at the top of your screen. Alan Johnson in the blue. And watch the dive with Xiang in between them. Alan Johnson diving. So much experience doing that. He gets it on the dive. But I got to tell you, Carol, I agree with you. Lui Xiang with the false start had to sit in the blocks. He thought his closing speed would help him. But watch here as a start. Xiang on the right. Johnson on the left.
Take a look at this. Not only is that a factor, but take a look at Lui Xiang. Hit a hurdle. He never hits hurdles, and that was also a factor. It threw him out of his game. Alan Johnson is used to skimming hurdles as he's doing here, so that's nothing unusual for him. Xiang really struggling with his technique, and that's something he's not used to. That's something he's going to have to get used to if he's in tight races like this.
And Dominque Arnold ran 13-16 last week, had a great run this week in the black just out the outside of your screen. But here's the story we'll follow from now into Beijing. Alan Johnson and Lui Xiang.
And White is with Alan Johnson now.
All right, we're hearing it's the fastest time in the world this year, which is not a bad thing. But we've been speculating a lot about you over the fall in Athens and then the fall start last week. I guess you sort of put paid to the whole idea that you got a little bit of a thing about Lui Xiang.
No, I don't have anything about him. I mean, other than he's a great competitor. But I'm going to put all the rumors to rest. I was not afraid last week. I just had a false start, and that's all there was to it.
Well, obviously, he brings the best out in you, too. 13:03 is a very good time at this time of year. You ran a great race against Dominque Arnold, who came up and ran a great race. This has got to be a rivalry you're looking forward to, because I know you're a competitor.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, just the fact that so many people are running so fast, it really gets my competitive juices flowing again like they were about 10 years ago. So I'm excited. It's making me feel young, and I'm looking forward to the summer.
Plus, it's a World Championship year. We know what happens when that happens. Alan?
Thank you.
Yeah. World Championship year usually means Alan Johnson wins, is how things have been in the
past.
past.
Ready.
So Alan Johnson with the fastest time in the world this year, the second fastest time in the world this year to Dominque Arnold. This New York track proving very speedy.
That's right. Dominque Arnold has really done a great job today.
Back down for more field event coverage. Here's Dwight.